Morning all. This is welcome to the morning after show, the morning after the night before, and Newcastle have failed to win yet again. However, doing a Steve Bruce here, there are quite a few positives to take from this performance, from the performance and not the result, I would say. However, it does highlight a couple of glaring problems that I'm sure everyone knew, particularly all the fans knew already. But I'm sure the rest of the world will now be questioning why we didn't go and get another striker in the summer, be that loan, free agent, whatever, because Steve Bruce clearly doesn't fancy Dwight Gale, so it's a bit of a weird one. Anyway, first positive, four at the back. In my pre-game lineups video, I assumed it was going to be five at the back again because I had a look on the Instagram page, and it's because of the numbers. I think that's what keeps catching me out. The numbers keep catching me out because of Isaac Hayden is in the middle of the three centre backs, as it were. But four at the back, and we look so much better. Carl Darlow in goal, Mankia right back, Matt Ritchie left back, which is a strange one, and I'll get onto that in a minute. Clark and Fernandez at the back looks so much better, and unfortunately, I'm sorry, Skip, but we looked so much better without Jamal Lascelles, which is a shame, and I'm sure when he returns, he'll be back to his old self, fingers crossed. So then your three-man midfield was, well, it was sort of a 4-5-1 at times, but I'm going to go positive and say it was a 4-2-3-1. So your two holding players, Sean Longstaff and Isaac Hayden. Sean Longstaff has looked quite good recently. He lacked a little bit of defensive nous at times, but the last 2 or 3 games he's looked okay, considering at times last season he looked shite. He looked devoid of confidence. He would switch off when he's receiving the ball. He would give the ball away in stupid areas. He's still not playing perfectly, but yesterday, he was good. Could have scored 2 or 3 goals, but he did get one, which is ironically the hardest chance he had. He converted into the top corner. Fantastic. It's nice to see us scoring good goals, because we always seem to score like ASM gets the good solo goal, but when you see it on Match of the Day, you see like Bruno Fernandes smash one in from 20 yards, or someone, Jack Grealish bending one into the top corner, or someone lobbing the goalkeeper after going past 2 or 3 players. You think there's no Newcastle players ever going to do that, But it's great to see him. Good strike. I think Ben Foster got a hand to it. Amazing that Ben Foster's still playing at the highest level. I mean, I can remember, obviously, when I was growing up in Cornwall, I used to go and watch Plymouth Argyle quite a bit, and I can remember watching on telly when Plymouth drew Watford in 2006-07 season, I believe, in the FA Cup. I think it might have been the quarter-final or last 16, and Ben Foster was sensational that day, saved everything, and they won the game 1-0. And here we are 14 years later, or whatever it is, and he's still doing it. If they had a lesser goalkeeper, we would have won the game. There's no two ways about that. However, we should have taken our chances. So yeah, Sean Longstaff, great to see him score. Great goal. I'll get onto his I'll get onto his other chances in a minute. But Isaac Hayden alongside him, what a difference! What a difference he makes in midfield from the start as well. And whoever's playing alongside him, you just look so much more comfortable, because like I said last week and the week before, when you've got Joe Willock, Miggy Almiron and Sean Longstaff in midfield, yeah, brilliant. There's some good technical ability there, and all 3 like to get forward, but there's not enough defensive nous, not enough defensive know-how, calmness. Excuse me. Someone who's going to say, right, you go, I'll stay. And Isaac Hayden is so good at that. He breaks up the play, cuts off the passing lanes, presses really well. He gets forward on occasion as well. very good player. And yeah, Joe Willock ahead of them. Again, another game without Joe Willock scoring. However, one thing, I'm very impressed with Joe Willock this season, and I didn't realise he had it in his locker. He's got a bit of bite. He's got a bit of bite, hasn't he? He's a good tackler. Arguably, he should have been sent off against Leeds, but because I can say it now because he got away with it, I don't mind a bit of that. You know, we need someone in midfield. He's not going to be stupid, but he's going to have a bit of, you know, a bit of grit, a bit of bite. He's going to be aggressive in the tackle. But he's actually an underrated tackler. Very good tackler, very good at pinching the ball. Rarely gives the ball away. Good 1-2s, he pops up on the left. He and Almiron sort of interchanged at times, and Joe Linton as well. Yeah, very good. All three of the midfielders. And you had Miggy Almiron, who was primarily on the right. Sometimes he was in the middle, sometimes he was on the left. Not as good as he was against Leeds, not as good as he was against Man United, but still a good display, I thought, from Miggy Almiron. I would still like to see him have a bit more conviction. I'd like to see him work on his shooting, work on his shot power. I'd just love to see Miggy play with a bit more confidence, and because he's never been the main man in the team. You know, when we signed him, it was, you know, Perez, Rondon, John Joe Shelby was playing quite well. Then the next season, obviously ASM came in, and it became very clear straight away that he was the new fucking boy in the side. Then Callum Wilson came in last season, so Miggy Almiron's never been the fulcrum of that team. He's never been the main man, the number 10. I would just like to see him play a bit more like that sometimes, you know, to sort of look at ASM, look at Callum Wilson when he's back, and be like, right, I'm the playmaker, you're the winger, you're the striker, I'm going to dictate play, I'm going to set the tempo. But yeah, he didn't play badly. Joe Linton was okay. Not as good as he was against Leeds, but he was decent. Had a couple of opportunities like he always does. Andy Carroll came out last week and said in the media that, you know, Joe Linton is incredibly sharp finisher in training with either feet. Then gone on to say, oh, he's been played up front, you know, which is as a centre forward on his own, that's the reason he's not scoring. But then Andy, it's like, but then you're saying he's an incredible finisher. So I don't know, but Joe Linton, I think if he's as good a finisher as people say he is, he should be scoring more goals, because this is his third season at the club. He's played the vast majority of his career as a striker, and he's still in single figures. But not a bad display. It's good to see him improving. He's having, each game, he's having less and less Joe Linton moments, and Newcastle fans will know what I mean by Joe Linton moments. ASM, again, looked a threat. Could have scored. He had a couple of good chances. He was on point with his dribbling. His through balls were terrific. You know, I think he put Joe Linton through once. He put Joe Willock through. He definitely put Jacob Murphy through in the dying seconds of the game. He laid off Sean Longstaff. Okay, that it's still classed as an assist, and I'm glad I've still got him in my fantasy team, but it's not an assist really, is it? You know, any of us could have done that, but it was a good pass, I suppose. Yeah, encouraging. So he's racking up numbers now. I think he's got, we're what, 5 or 6 games in, he's got 2 goals in the league, 2 assists. He might have 3 assists actually, I'm trying to think, because he set up Wilson against West Ham. No one scored against Villa. He scored against Southampton. Did he assist against Southampton? I can't remember. I think he's got 2 of each. So if he keeps doing this, keeps doing what he's doing, you know, he's going to hit double figures in at least one of those aspects. Substitutes. I can't remember who came on. Oh, Dwight Gale came on for like the last 8-9 minutes. Didn't do a lot. Looked enthusiastic, running around. looked keen, but you can, come on mate, you can get through that. Didn't have many touches of the ball, didn't have any chances to talk about. Jacob Murphy come on. Now this is the big moment. I'll get on to our chances in a minute. There's not a lot to say about the Watford goal really. You know, the second one was offside and it was rightly pegged back. The first one, it was just second ball on a corner. I mean, it's disappointing to concede a goal like that, but there's not a lot you can do really. You know, it's just one of those. It changed direction so quickly. But the Jacob Murphy chance, oh my word. I've seen a lot of people getting on his back on Twitter. You know, he's not capable of that sort of skill, blah de blah de blah. Why is he doing this? He's never going to score a goal like that. I'll take you back to his first Newcastle goal at the Etihad, I believe. It was definitely against Man City. Sublime. Exactly the same sort of situation. You know, he's running through, his pace is taking him away, he's got time to think about it, and he lobs Ederson sublimely. So he's got it in his locker. But my God, you know, ASM puts him through perfectly. He times his run to perfection. And then just, it's not even a lob. He doesn't even try and like chip it. He tries to like scoop it over. And you know, whether it would have worked had he got the technique right, I don't know, because Ben Foster, you know, he's not a small goalkeeper. He was quite close to him, but he gets it all wrong. It sort of rolls onto the instep of his foot and it's like going wide, hits off the goalkeeper's arm. I know he's capable of that finish, because like I said, he scored the same goal against Man City Cup 2-3 would have been 3 or 4 years ago now. But I was screaming at him to go around the goalkeeper. Foster came out like he's supposed to do. I was screaming at him to go around the goalkeeper, just fade to the goalkeeper's right. He had a lot of space. He's at the centre of the pitch, good angle, you know, and with Jacob Murphy's pace, that would have been an easy finish. That was tough to take. That was our best, attacking wise, that was our best performance of the season. Defensively, it was quite an open game, but Watford didn't threaten us, and anything they did threaten us with, bar the goal in the corner, I thought the defence were pretty good. But yeah, right, let's get into the chances. Murphy, that was the biggest chance. Kieran Clark had a header late on in the game. He had a little Ferrari forward, and my word, he should have scored that one. Joe Linton had his chances, Willock had chances, Sean Longstaff had a massive chance. I think it was almost a double, because ASM had got the ball wide right, and you fancy him to go and smash it past the goalkeeper or slot it in the net or go around the goalkeeper or something, and he tries to, what is he doing? Like he tries, typical ASM fashion, right? He's one of the best players outside the top 6 in the league, in my opinion. I think he's got, his ceiling is huge. His talent, his level, you know, he is only going to get better. He's still a young man. I think he's 23, 24, you know, and he's got so much more. But this is frustrating. He could have just taken the shot, or he could have gone round the goalkeeper to the right and slotted it in. He goes to the left, goes towards traffic, because he wants to score the goal like Ozil did for Arsenal in the Champions League, or like Raul did in the late 90s, where he goes past the goalkeeper, goes past the second defender, goes past the third defender and slots it into the empty net, only when he is dribbled past every player who challenges him. And he sort of mucks it up, but he manages to lay it off to Sean Longstaff, and because he slipped and mucked up the layoff, it's bobbling. Now, Sean Longstaff is still a professional Premier League player, still an attacking midfielder, I think, in his mind. So he has got to do better there. He could have taken a quick touch and just rolled it in the net. He goes to put it in first time, and because it's bobbling, he doesn't control the technique right. Perhaps he gets a bit excited, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to score my second goal here. Finally, we're going to get our first win of the season." and he just smashes it over in the end. Maximan had one similar in the box, and it's just chance after chance after chance, you know. So it only confirms, like I said at the start of the video, what we all know: we should have bought another striker, because Dwight Gale was clearly not fancied by Steve Bruce. He got some minutes at the end, but ASM, as incredible a player as he is, and as good a finisher as he can be, he is not. You couldn't hang your hat on him to score, to be our number 9 on his own for the rest of the season, because, you know, he's going to have the odd game where he makes stupid decisions like that one, like he could have scored himself, or he's going to try and take everyone else on, or he's going to get injured, or he's, you know. So if Dwight Gale wasn't fancied by the manager, which he clearly isn't, knowing Callum Wilson's track record with injuries, knowing that Joe Linton is not a ruthless, lethal finisher, you know, we needed to buy another striker. But it wasn't to be. I couldn't argue with the selection. Like I said, I thought it was five at the back initially, but I was happy with the 4 at the back. I was happy with the personnel. Although Matt Ritchie did some good things in possession, I would have preferred, if we're playing a flat back 4, I think Jamal Lewis has to play. I think he was an investment as a young lad, and his confidence, his confidence has gone backwards. You know, he has not progressed. This is his second season at the club. He's hardly played. When he has played, he hasn't played that well. He's only had a handful of good games. So he needs to be exposed to the Premier League in a system that suits him. One of the main reasons I think Matt Ritchie is selected is he's a lot better at crossing the ball. But Jamal Lewis is obviously improving in training. He has to be. But, excuse me, going forward, Matt Ritchie has the edge, which he's going to, because, you know, Matt Ritchie's not always been a left wing back. You know, he was a winger for the majority of his career. We bought him as a winger. But the main asset, the main quality that Matt Ritchie has over Jamal Lewis, in my opinion, is when he receives the ball under pressure, his go-to pass isn't always backwards and palming off that pressure onto the centre back. He's able to take the ball, nail his first touch perfectly, and then whip it round to the winger, whip it round to the striker, you know, playing those long balls down the channel to Callum Wilson, or he's able to cut inside, take on the pressurising midfielder, I should say, and give it safely. Whereas Jamal Lewis seems to panic in possession. He gets the ball when it's always backwards. He's easy to read. I think if he could vary up his passing game under pressure, I feel like he would be, you know, in with a shout, because he's the better defender than Matt Ritchie, which, in all fairness, he bloody should be, because Matt Ritchie's a winger who is filling in as a left wing back. We've also got Paul Dummett as an option, who again is much more defensive than Matt Ritchie. He's coming back from injury soon, Paul Dummett, but he doesn't offer an awful lot going forward. So Matt Ritchie has that massive advantage over the other two, but it'd be interesting to see whether anyone can dethrone it. Other than that, I was happy with the selection, to be fair. Like I said, Sean Longstaff's been playing really well, probably his best period of play since his first season, since those opening games. Like, remember the game against Burnley sticks out, where he was very, very good. He played a fantastic game in Bruce's first season alongside his brother at Watford after we beat Manchester United. Last season he lost his way. This season he seems to be back. I would not be rushing Jonjo Shelvey back into the team. He is one of Bruce's favourites, I think, because he speaks very positively about Steve Bruce in the media whenever he gets the opportunity. So he will probably be pigeonholed back into the side. However, I personally wouldn't be taking Sean Longstaff out at the moment. He's just scored a goal. He's getting chances. You know, he had a chance against Man U. He had a couple of good other chances yesterday against Watford. So, you know, he is getting opportunities. He had a couple of pot shots against Leeds. So if he can work on his shooting and improve and get a few more goals, I think he has to stay in midfield with Isaac Hayden while his brother's away anyway. Yeah, obviously I'd like to see Dwight Gale start, but then that changes the whole system. Joe Linton doesn't deserve to lose his place at the moment. I know a lot of people might disagree with that, but I don't think he does. ASM is obviously undroppable. Miggy Almiron's playing well. But at the end of the day, as good as the performance was, as good as we were going forward, bar being clinical and taking our chances, as exciting as we were, as good as we were to watch for a change, we still haven't won. We still haven't won a game. I think, is that 5 or 6 league appearances now, league games? I'm trying to think. West Ham, Villa, Southampton, Man U, Leeds. Yeah. Problems, big problems, and we've got Wolves next week. Wolves are playing Southampton this afternoon, I believe. Hopefully the Saints can do us a favour there. West Ham did us a favour by beating Leeds. Yeah, it's worrying. However, I am encouraged by that last performance. I must say, I do feel encouraged by that last performance. We just need someone who can stick the ball in the fucking net on the regular. ASM's doing well. If he can score a few more goals, great. Joe Linton needs to weigh in with a few more. Joe Willock needs to rediscover his goal scoring form from last season. Still haven't won, but I'm encouraged by that performance, I must say. Up the 2.